Hello and welcome to All New Real Monsters, and this is episode 5, and we've been on a bit of a streak. We've had 4 good episodes.
Yep.
Last week's episode we had so much to talk about that I forgot to even do the intro for the show. I didn't do that for the first time ever. I didn't do the hello and welcome to. Yep, wasn't there. I only realised it when we were like halfway through talking about the first subject, and I was like, well, too fucking late now.
You could do it then. It had like an intro and then the
cold open, I think is what they call it for TV. But last week was big, so we had Bundy to deal with, and he kind of took up 90% of the show.
A lot of the show. So much of the show.
It was an hour and a half of the show, was it?
A bit longer.
And it was all, at least half of that was Bundy. But that was by design, because we said that when we got those bigger killers to talk about, we'll do them. But instead of doing the 2-part episodes and the mini-sodes anymore, you're just going to get it as one big long-ass episode, and we'll do a rewind. And we'll grab one of the old episodes from before the new format of Real Monsters, and we'll pull them out of our archives so that we can discuss them here. Because there's a few guys like the Ogopogo and other funny name things like the Squanch that I want to talk about. Squanch, sorry, Squanch is Rick and Morty, I know, but that's why it all sticks in my head. God. And even when you talk about the Squank, it sounds like a Rick and Morty character. Yeah. It sounds like a Rick and Morty, because all it does is walk. It's ER except from fucking space.
I feel sorry for it. Poor Squank.
He just walks around crying all day, sounding like this.
I know girls that sound like that and act like that.
This week, though, we have one cryptid, one mythological being, one serial killer, and one butt-stabbing monster.
That may or may not have been real.
I just loved your reaction to it, to be honest with you.
It's because when we had to split or change last minute, because I wanted to do the Hammersmith ghost case.
But I
you had covered that, yes, since
when
we swapped over.
Monsters.
So I knew this guy existed, the London Monster, and I was like, oh, this is a good one. And I knew it wasn't that long, and then I should have read over it because it really knocked me.
Oh, but it was great. I loved it. I mean, all our, like, I said it to you when I did because before it was Creepypasta Crypt and Mini Monsters. And when I covered Mini Monsters, every now and again, I didn't want to do the same style as you, where you were kind of reading it properly, like almost like a newsreader kind of reading the story. You know, you're telling the events of what you're seeing in this page.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reason I don't do Mini Monsters anymore, I get too frustrated just trying to read the straight dialogue in front of me. If I haven't written it myself, I just keep fumbling words. So when I'm reading it off of the internet, I'm just fumbling. Whereas you're reading through their bios, like, there's no hassle to you. Whereas then I write the scripts for our weekly show.
And you fly through
I can fly through them because they're my words.
Yeah.
And I just found that sometimes I'd have to say something in between of my own words, like make a comment about the person, or whereas yours was very editorial. It wasn't like an editorial. It was very non-biased. You were just saying the facts. I was talking about serial killers and every now and again here. What a fucking asshole. What a prick. And every now and again I do countdowns and stuff like that because they're just easier for me to handle. So I do a quick countdown, but this way is much more fun. I'm enjoying this. We get your cool stories during the week. People get them for free, and then you come over here and you get to listen to us talk about those stories. Now, I will admit this week, every other week, I've been really, really good. Because my schedule's been proper, I kind of got myself into a good schedule, and I was able to watch documentaries and read up a bit more about all our characters that we're going to talk about this week, every other week. But this week, I wasn't able to. I had a bit of a shit week, so I didn't really get around to doing a whole pile about these guys. I know a bit about Madame LaLaurie.
Last podcast definitely covered Madame LaLaurie.
They did a big series only a month or two ago.
Yeah.
So
wasn't that even that?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. A couple of months ago. The London Monster sticks in my head just because you're a joke. The Black Dog, I have a story of my own.
Me too.
And the Wendigo, all I know is that it kind of looks like a deer.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what they're going to make?
It looked werewolfy.
Do you think that's what they're going to make Bambi and Bambi Reckoning?
A Wendigo.
some form of a Wendigo. And I've seen pictures, I've seen the teaser trailer, so he just looks like a rabid kind of fucking. It looks like Cujo, Bambi Cujo.
Yeah. Do you know what though? What I was going to do before I decided I was going to do the Wendigo, and I was looking at Skinwalkers because they seem to be very topical at the moment. But when I was reading about them, it seemed very disrespectful. From what I was reading, from what the Native American community
feel
were
free
saying,
to talk about them. Everybody else.
I know, but what they were saying is that, like, you know, that basically what I grasped from it was that, like, outsiders shouldn't have like a proper understanding because it's.
But then you just preface the story with that. This is a version of a story that is told. This is the Native Americans disagree with this version of the story, or the Native Americans don't believe it, or this is their beliefs. But this is the mythology behind it, and this is the story behind it. You know,
but that's what they were. Oh yeah, okay.
Because I mean, realistically, most of these things we talk about probably aren't real, and most of these things that we talk about are just mythological creatures and
mythological creatures that were real. I mean, Native Americans.
Before we get, I know the black dog is probably the last thing we're going to be talking about today, but there is. I'm looking at here. There's at least a list of fucking 15 to 20 different versions of this black dog from different places.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
I think that's. I wonder statistically how many dogs are black. And is it just a thing of you're more likely to see a black dog, and this is why it's like culture spread? Like, same
my
with black
story
cats.
has a bit of bias in it, but we'll get to that. We'll talk about the Wendigo first. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the Wendigo?
So the Wendigo, it's a mythological creature or an evil spirit that originated in Algonquian folklore.
So it's not a cryptid. This isn't something that's seen on.
It's a legendary creature. That's what it's classified as.
Okay.
So the concept has been widely used in literature and other works of art, such as social commentary and horror fiction, and it's often said to be a malevolent spirit, sometimes depicted as a creature with human-like characteristics which possesses human beings. It's said to cause its victims a feeling of insatiable hunger, the desire to eat other humans, and the propensity to commit murder.
That sounds like a zombie.
It sounds like a zombie. And in some representations, the Wendigo is described as a giant humanoid with a heart of ice whose approach is signalled by a foul stench or a sudden unseasonable chill.
Sounds like the Grinch.
Yeah, I wonder what colour it is. But then there's also Wendigo
zombie
psychosis. So Wendigo psychosis then in modern psychiatry is characterized by symptoms such as an intense craving for human flesh and fear of becoming a cannibal. It's described as a culture-bound syndrome. And in some First Nation communities, symptoms such as insatiable greed and destruction of the environment are also thought to be as symptoms of Wendigo psychosis. So I wonder, is this like the belief in like, you know, like being possessed in like the Roman Catholic? It's culture-bound, like.
I will say that referring to someone who is greedy and loves money as a Wendigo is a much better version than what people had been using for centuries.
That is true.
So let's stick with the Wendigo. I'm happy with that. I mean, unless things take a turn and over there, then they get themselves in more trouble. In which case, I'm sure.
Sure, it's coming.
Fuck, people have to pay for this. But so this thing has never actually been seen. This is legendary. I made the mistake at the start of kind of classifying this as cryptid. A cryptid would be something that people have seen.
When you mentioned the antlers, I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures of Skinwalker with that depiction as like a
well, a Skinwalker can be any kind of animal.
I knew that. I know that, but the more common pictures online would be with antlers and kind of like.
I mean, not to get too far into a skinwalker, but I'm pretty fucking sure that the actual real-life skinwalker is just a human being wearing the fur of or the skin of an animal and running around acting like that animal. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And that it is terrifying. I only got interested in Skinwalker Ranch because it sounded like it was an alien hotspot, and then I found out it wasn't, and I stopped. I don't know anything about Skinwalker Ranch. I told you last podcast my favorite show. They've done Skinwalker Ranch. Sometimes with certain episodes they do, and I just can't. I hear their jokes and I laugh their jokes, but I can't keep the information in because it just doesn't interest me. And for some reason, Skinwalker Ranch doesn't interest me. No, we could cover it, and I might open my eyes to it. There's been a few things we've talked.
Skinwalker Ranch. There is UFO sightings and paranormal activity.
Okay, we'll talk about it a bit more sometime. Yeah, definitely. But
you were right, like so. Maybe
I don't know. There was just something about it. I don't know. I think when I saw it, I find a lot. I'm skeptic in the sense of we've said it before. We really want to believe, but we find the people who are telling us that they've seen it
in a certain way.
Yeah. And TV shows are usually the wrong way to present it to me.
I would say that usually It's like the way I am with documentaries. And if I get a good documentary, I'd be happy to sit down and watch it. But if it's PBS and it has that kind of like that, I don't know how to describe the voice.
Over the top dramatizations and stuff like really cheesy dramatizations.
Yeah,
and stuff like
I'm
that.
done. I'm out instantly.
But,
and it could be something that I'm really interested in, but I'm fucking done.
Like I would say that a paranormal TV show, no interest.
No.
But a paranormal show, but I like Paranormal Caught on Camera because it's other people's, phone footage or security footage, and it's different. Or like if, say, fucking the Puka Vogelot were to come out here and show me videos they've taken, that's proof to me.
Yeah.
Proof of these guys running around the fucking empty house with their night vision on going, oh, what was that? What was that? I got touched. Oh, what was that? Or what was the Mary Likes Dick? Is that the one you
Mary Loves Dick. That was Derek Cora on Living TV shouting, Mary Loves Dick.
It's just,
I Did you realise he sounded like an ape?
And maybe, and you know what's worse is, some of that could be some of the realest footage you've ever seen, but I just won't buy it because it's too fucking...
But again, it was, for me, as much as I had an awful soft spot for Derek Cora, but it's the way he presented himself. I never actually believed what he was saying, but he looked like he'd have fit right in with Del Boy. Do you know? And it was very hard to take it.
It's not from but these Wendigos are Native American as well, are they? They're primarily
so they're part of the traditional belief system of a number of Native Americans, but they're all Algonquin speaking peoples. So they're like the Ojibwe, the Saulteaux, the Cree, the Naskapi, and the Innu.
Like I keep saying, I would consider myself to be Celtic, Norse, pagan, but that I consider all paganism as one.
But if there was another one,
I would love to love. No, but no, I see all paganism as one.
Okay.
And I would love to... I have to start studying the Native American religion as well, just to see why. But they are all so fucking similar, and I just like to see their version of the stories that we have here in the story, because they're the same stories, different names, different things, but the stories are generally the fucking same, we don't have much on here, but the cannibalistic thing, which is interesting. So it is seen, it's used now in medical terms for someone who has a fear of becoming a cannibal.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much everybody. I mean, I'm afraid of becoming a cannibal. I don't want to become a cannibal, Amy. I mean, it's a fear I have.
But historically as well, people that thought that they had Wendigo psychosis, it wasn't just that they had a fear of becoming a cannibal. The people around them had the fear that they were going to become a cannibal as well. So a lot of the times they killed them before they had the chance to turn into a cannibal.
Mob mentality. Like this is like the dancing plague that we talked about ages ago, or that we covered ages ago on Mini Monsters.
Yeah, like the account that I read from 1661. It was missionaries, but the Native Americans who killed the missionaries because they believed that they were...
Oh, do you know what? This is a fun way for us to do. Because I will admit this week, our stories are a little shorter, so it might be fun to use this to... and I don't have a lot to say about the Wendigo, to be honest with you, to do a little rewind and go back, because we are talking about if this is like a mass hysteria kind of thing.
It's not mass hysteria.
But like a group of people believing that one person could become a cannibal, so they kill them for that fucking reason. That is mass psychosis. That's a bunch of people having the same crazy thought at the same time, yeah? Yes?
Yes.
Well, then what I suggest is we do a little rewind here and we tell people about the dancing plague that we just referred to. Because we never got to do that because it was before the time Real Monsters was associated with Mini Monsters. Mm. So this is a classic and it's a rewind, and I want you to tell people about that because that's a
I will say that not all cases of Wendigo psychosis would be mass hysteria.
No, I know that.
A guy that had the Wendigo psychosis, and he killed and ate his kids and his wife. He was a trapper in America.
Well, that's just a cannibal.
But no, you see, there's kind of different thoughts on that as well. Was he cannibal or what? Because he was very close to food supplies. So they were like, well, you might have had difficulty getting to the food supplies, but you could have made it to the food supplies, but you decided to eat what was in your house instead, which was your wife and kids.
Yeah, but the Sawyers had a fucking a shop and a barbecue fucking restaurant, and they still chose to eat people. So, I mean,
but what they're also pointing out was that it was the winter of 1878. He had nothing to eat at home. It was a bit of a trek to get to, but he could have made it to get the supplies, but he did what he did then instead. So they're like, was he just a cannibal? Or was it actually Wendigo psychosis?
Does it count as Wendigo psychosis with those guys, the rugby players?
No, because they were starving.
That was just, you have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then why does he get classified as Wendigo psychosis? Or possibly Wendigo psychosis if he couldn't get the food and he was starving and had to eat the kids? Or are they saying that it was rather Wendigo psychosis, or he just chose to eat the kids because he couldn't get to the food supply?
I'm not sure. I think that a part of it might be because he was a First Nations man. His name was Swift Runner, and he was Native American.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's why it was pinned on him. That it wasn't just a case of pure starvation, that Wendigo psychosis was there, and then he confessed.
Do you know what the shit thing, though? If you're the father of the family, you shouldn't be eating your wife and kids. You should be the one sacrificing yourself to be eaten by the kids so that they will survive.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, I am more interested in the idea, though, of the mass psychosis with this kind of fucking thing. Like the idea that a group of people will believe one person is turning cannibal. It almost sounds like possession, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You know?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they believe something. Do you know what it reminds me of? Is that story you did ages ago. Oh, what were they? Do you remember where the husband killed the wife and the neighbours got in trouble for it as well? And they said that she was possessed by a what?
A fairy.
That was it.
That she was a changeling.
A changeling, that was it. And we never covered that here, did we?
We mentioned it once or twice. It was Bridget Cleary, the murder of Bridget Cleary. She died.
But we did it on Mini Monsters, yeah? And we've never actually spoken about it here. So do you want to speak about that?
Okay. So Bridget Cleary, she was murdered by her husband in 1895. She was either immolated or her body was set on fire immediately after her death. The husband stated that his motive was his belief that she had been abducted by fairies and replaced with a changeling, which he then killed. I think, let me have a look here, but I'm pretty sure that the neighbours...
What's the difference between a changeling and a fairy?
I have actually covered changelings. So a changeling...
I know you've covered changelings, that's why we're talking about it here. So, I'm trying again to rewind to one of our old episodes that we've never got to cover on Real Monsters and bring it right here. So
I know, but I did changelings and I did...
Did you? Did you do them?
Yes.
Oh, what? It's two separate things?
Yeah.
I thought she was actually in the changeling episode.
I'm pretty sure I covered her as well.
Double rewind.
So
you're getting 5 fucking stories. So they're getting 6 stories today instead of 4.
A changeling was a substitute left by a supernatural being. So a changeling could be a fairy, but to make it a changeling, say I'd have to be kidnapped and a fairy put in my place that looks like me.
Is it kind of like Harry Potter and Voldemort?
Huh?
Like he gets destroyed where he left a little bit of himself behind and then attached himself to something to keep himself living.
Like in Outlander when they put the baby out so that they'd swap them back. Have you never heard of this in Ireland? Okay. Do you know, if you look at pictures of your if you had pictures of your granddads up until they were about maybe 3 or 5, well, I don't know about the town granddads, but definitely like, you know, the country granddads. Up until about the age 5, 6, they will look like girls in their pictures. Because boy babies were favoured by fairies, human boy babies, to kidnap them and replace them with their own boy fairies.
Yeah, I remember this from the episode, from the Mini Monsters episode.
And for that reason, a lot of Irish babies look like girls, boy babies, for a long time, up until afterwards. But the fairy is the being. It's the actual mythological being. The changeling then is the fairy that was swapped out. Do you know, if that makes sense?
It does, but by my belief system, I technically can't believe in that, because my belief system will be that the fairies of Ireland are actually the gods of Ireland.
And I believe that the gods of Ireland would have played a trick like that. You can take my baby and I'll take your baby.
And put them in Ireland. I just said they all slip into the same scheme of things.
Absolutely would they have done that.
There is a possibility. But that would be pretty awesome. You get to go to fucking live with the gods and your kid is a god. Is that me?
I don't know if you're treated well. I'm pretty sure that you look after the changeling here, but I don't know if they're treated well.
Well, hang on. You have to remember this is Christian propaganda we're talking about here. I'm sure the gods of Ireland would take care of their Irish people. Either way, this poor woman, Cleary, Bridget Cleary, is it?
Bridget
She was most definitely not a changeling or a... Like, what tests do they do on a changeling again? There's a few, isn't there? And there's one that's more easier than the other, as far as I can remember. I mean, most of them involve causing bodily harm to the person, but I do believe there is like one really simple way of getting one out of there, isn't it? Like calling their name or something.
It's to do with bread. Let me have a look here. Sorry, I don't have a prepared in front of me. I'm just looking for it.
Bread. What is it? Like fucking like the tapeworms we were talking about the last day. You just put bread at the end of your butt and the fucking little fairy will pop on out and take the bread and run off.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to. Do you think there's YouTube videos of the tapeworm thing? We've talked about it a few times. Do you think you could get a video of seeing the I'm going to look that fucking up straight afterwards.
Oh, yeah, God love your fucking algorithms.
Huh? But we've always talked about this because Amy, for people who don't know, Amy's obsessed with worms.
I'm not obsessed with worms.
The first, if me or the kids or her get like even a slight bit of a fucking twinge in our tummy, or one of us are like slightly hungrier than we have been any other day, she's like, they got worms. Worms, 100% worms.
I do not put the stomach cramps down to worms, but when you're eating me out of house at home, well then
about tapeworms and how they. You've never had worms, have you? No, I had them as a kid, and it sucked balls.
Only getting rid of them.
I can remember taking them. I can remember the taste of the medicine now, and I couldn't take the medicine because every time it hit the back of my throat, I gagged and puked it back up. My dad tried everything. He put it into 7-Up and everything to try and kill the taste. I can still remember the taste, and it would hit the back of my throat, and I'd just vomit it right back up again.
Yeah.
So maybe I still have worms to this day. Who knows?
Maybe. Told you.
Leaving. Did you find what you're looking for?
No, but I'm pretty sure that it's to be able to swallow the bread.
What?
And if you can't swallow the bread, well then you're a fairy. But maybe it was blessed bread. But either way, when it's been shoved down your mouth and it's a chunk of bread and somebody's forcing it down, your mouth is going dry because you're like, oh shit, maybe I'm going to die here. You're probably not going to be able to swallow the bread.
Yeah, it's basically the same deal as being a witch, isn't it? We're trying to.
Yeah. Here, come here. If you drown, you're fine. At least you won't have.
You know, I typed in tapeworms leaving body videos, and the first thing to come up YouTube is how to survive tapeworms. Warning: distressing footage.
I always imagine that it's kind of like the episode of American Horror Story. The last episode of the last season, where she like gives birth to the
American Horror Stories.
Or American Horror Stories. That's what it was.
That's the one that we just watched.
And she gets into the bath and she's like, trying to get the worm out of her.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of the last episode with the guy with the liver.
No.
Do you remember where he had woke up and it was one of those organ fucking robbery things?
Oh, I missed that.
Did you fall asleep for that one?
Have.
I can't remember what the ending was.
Did you fall asleep too?
No, I was awake for it, but you know, I mean, I like American Horror Story. I like American Horror Stories.
In and out.
But they like build you this great story and just seem to fuck up the ending.
Oh no, maybe I was awake for that one because you said that at the end of that one.
It's like a really common trait that it's like they get you so far and then the ending's a bit of a dud, which is unfortunate because they're really good stories.
They're good. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from tapeworms and changelings and the Wendigo. I like the Wendigo, but again, I think I was expecting some more fucking horror stories about the Wendigo. Some more, I saw the Wendigo, it attacked me fucking stories. But do you know who is horrific? And
Madame
that is
LaLaurie.
Yes.
Again, just some of her stories were added later on. I think some were for commonly known stories, but she was still an awful yoke.
But this is very reminiscent to a story we talked about only a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? What was her name? Do you remember there was a woman we were talking about her?
Battery.
Yeah. It's similar kind of idea of Absolutely. This is a powerful woman in a time when women weren't supposed to be powerful, who did do some terrible stuff, but did the same terrible stuff that all the other people around her were doing to their slaves.
In my head, Battery is more innocent than LaLaurie.
And then that it was conflated and made bigger after her death to make her seem like more of a monster than she really was. Now, from what I believe, there is more evidence against this lady right here, like, you know.
Yeah.
poor black people with extra limbs and missing limbs and.
Now those are the parts that were added later, but like those are that was what the first thing that I ever read about her was the bodies that she had turned into like crabs and shit like that, like to walk like human crabs.
She essentially they're kind of accusing her of experimenting on them with torture methods. But it was like stuff like that, like removing limbs, adding limbs.
People
I don't know
together.
what fucking good adding limbs to do. The limb isn't going to move when you stitch it onto the fucking body, like, you know.
Did they know that at the time? Did she know that? Was it an experiment to see if they could like stimulate nerve growth?
She's like fucking in the original what's my man?
Frankenstein.
No. We did fucking 4 parts or 3 parts in the bastard.
Reanimator.
Yeah, Herbert West.
I would assume that if she was, because she was a woman, that if she had any kind of interest there, that they would have found journals. Oh, but the house, maybe she didn't.
Oh shit, she's Irish.
I said that to you. She's half Irish.
Do you know why we have no serial killers in Ireland?
They all fucked up.
We sent them all away. Yeah. Australia, America, England. We watched Burke and Hare last night. We covered Burke and Hare a few weeks ago, but we watched the movie last night. The movie isn't a million miles away from what actually happened.
It's not. No.
They just make the murder a whole lot funnier.
But that's because they kind of have to.
I mean, I enjoyed Andy Serkis more than I never really knew, because Andy Serkis, I got introduced to him pretty much as a CGI actor, and I loved him because of Planet of the Apes, and I'm a big ass nerd. Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, they're like.
Is he in Star Wars?
He is. He is in Star Wars more than once.
As a voice, yeah, but do we see him?
Oh, he is a big part in Star Wars. CGI part and stuff.
I know, but I mean, his face. Do we see it?
He's.
That's what I. That's
do.
What
We definitely do. That one I can't answer as quickly, but he was Snook.
Yeah.
In the new ones. Grand Admiral Snook or whatever the fuck he was called, but I'm almost 1,000,000%. Was he in?
In my head, Snook is always
I'll tell you what he was in. He was in Andor. He was in the prison in Andor, the factory prison in Andor.
Ah, yes, he fucking was. But do you know what? He looked a bit kind of beefier, didn't he? Because he was in the prison.
Oh yeah, but compared to Burke and Hare, he's young as fucking Burke and Hare. I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize how old. Yeah,
I can see him in the white.
I didn't even realize how old the Burke and Hare movie was because
2010.
We were watching. I was like, that guy's dead. That guy's dead. That guy's dead. That guy's dead.
Who?
With Christopher Lee for one.
Well, I knew. Yeah, well, obviously Christopher Lee. Like,
and Tim Curry's not dead, but he wasn't exactly in great shape. You know,
yeah.
to be in a movie.
The Ronnie. So, which one of the Ronnies was it?
Yeah, there was a lot of English guys there that I knew were either very much old or dead. So I was surprised, at that. But holy yeah, she was a McCarthy.
McCarthy.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, she wasn't born in Ireland. I think her dad was born in Ireland. She was born in maybe Louisiana. She was born in...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, New Orleans. Spanish Louisiana. I didn't know there was a Spanish Louisiana. I thought it was all just pretty much French.
As well, yeah. I think they speak a few languages there.
It's one I'd love to see.
Haiti has a big fucking presence there, as far as I know.
Which?
The Haitians.
Oh, the Haitians, they do, yeah. But they speak French in Haiti as well, don't they? I'm pretty sure they language, yeah.
So this lady, is she another case of she married into money a few times? Because I'm looking at her Wikipedia page here and I see the titles: first marriage, second marriage, third marriage.
It's not that she married into money. She was from an influential family, as it was. Like her parents were very prominent in the New Orleans European Creole community. Her uncle by marriage, that's marrying in. He was governor of the Spanish American provinces of Louisiana and Florida. Her cousin, Augustine de McCarthy, it is so fucking bizarre as an Irish person to say a foreign name and then put McCarthy afterwards. He was mayor of New Orleans.
Shit, there's that Liverpool player. What's his name again? Is he not McCarthy? What's that?
Oh, yeah, but it's not Spanish like it, is it?
No, it is.
Is he not Portuguese? Is he South American?
Yeah, that's the thing. I should know this, but I haven't really been paying much attention this season. And he only came in last season, at the end of last season.
We see...
McAllister. Alexis McAllister. And Alexis McAllister, he looks as Irish as they come and is from... Where's he? Argentina. Yeah. But his dad is Irish. So,
mad where the names go on. My dad had
So
a Jamaican friend in England with the last name Burke, Burke, like.
Amy,
it's
the
like, where did you
confusion,
get
I
it?
swear to God. I remember, like, I was like, it was during the transfer window, and I was keeping an eye on the transfers. And next thing I see, Liverpool sign, great, Argentina midfielder. And I click into it, like, who's this guy? Alexis McCarthy. I was like,
Josh, like, shit, how did I get onto the GA page?
Argentina? Sure, I didn't get him off of Cork City or Bow Ramblers or some fucking shit.
Do any countries like that? I know that some of the Americans do, some of the states, but do any like other countries like that enter the GA, enter the hurling and the football, or is it literally just the Irish Americans?
From what I can tell, there is Gaelic football and hurling all over the world.
Okay.
I think you'd obviously have to qualify to get in. New York, London are definitely there. I know my friend Keane plays for Austria. I don't know if he plays for Austria or he does play regularly in Austria.
Oh, that's class.
And plays at a pretty. When Caitlin was in America, she played for San Francisco.
Teams, yeah.
My sister is, I'd say at this point, has to hold one of the records for the most amount of clubs playing, because I mean, there's like high politics involved with changing club.
Huge,
when she tried to change club between clubs in town, there was absolutely fucking war. Then she moved to Mayo, so she had to change to a third club. But
that's okay. That would be okay, wouldn't it?
That was,
because you're other ends of the country.
That one was left slide.
Yeah.
That one was an easier transition. And obviously in San Francisco, it wasn't a big deal because it was a temporary fucking thing.
Is that why in college...
I think she only played like a blitz there or something like that. She only played like one or two, like a day kind of tournament, kind of knockout tournament thing for San Francisco.
But is the transfer route so in GAY in college that, like, you know, like I'd have friends who were permanently living in Cork, they were from Thurles, but they'd be like, oh, I have to go home for training.
Yep.
That's crazy. And they wouldn't be able to transfer it to somewhere locally.
Well, I think in certain cases, if you're a big enough player, a good enough player, a player they give a shit enough about, they'd kind of put you maybe training, where they'd get the college trainer to work with you a little harder, probably give you private fucking stuff to do, or send you to maybe another team to train with them.
I never knew what the
maybe tell you to go down and train with the local team for a couple of fucking while, once a week or whatever. But then I don't know how that works. That's just me guessing, to be honest with you. But yeah, I do know in a lot of cases they probably would have to travel to. I'd assume there'd be special arrangements made for like weekday stuff, but you would be expected to be at most trainings and stuff.
I know people who did buy a house, bought a house to try and get their son changed.
Well, you can do that.
But is that not just mind blowing? Like, they had their house, their home house, and they're like, right.
Well, some people take it really fucking serious in this country, which is fucked up because it is not a professional sport.
But that's what I mean. That's what my point would be.
For people outside of Ireland, Gaelic or football, like our national sports are amateur sports.
They do not get paid.
Or no, they get well taken care of.
Yeah. But
if you're a good enough player, or you hold an All Ireland medal, All Ireland would be the equivalent to the Super Bowl or the fucking what the what do they call their baseball one? That's the World something as well. World Series, even though it's only you could at least let Japan in.
Technically,
Japan
we could call it the international GA final, technically, but
but we call it the All Ireland because we understand it happens in Ireland. But, our players don't get paid, but like the really higher up ones, the ones who win medals, the ones who are seen as stars,
they get endorsements, wouldn't they?
They do a lot of advertising work. And then they would also get cushy jobs in banks and as policemen and as teachers and stuff like that. But they wouldn't be proper real jobs. They'd be kind of sit around and do busy work kind of jobs, turn up whenever the fuck you want kind of jobs, and they're taken care of pretty fucking well in this country.
Anyway, I wonder if she ever played camogie.
I suppose the Americans would know. I mean, you see when you see the way the jocks are taken care of in fucking secondary school or high school over there to make sure that they get their scholarship, they'll get the nerds to fucking write their fun. Pretty much same premise here. They get taken care of. Whatever they want, they get. What I always found funny is because and it sounds terrible. I find it funny because I was one of the kids that obviously had no real sporting ability. I wanted to be a wrestler and a wrestler only, and I was very good at being a wrestler, and I was an athletic wrestler, that was fine. But when it came to kicking a ball over a fucking pole, no good. So I didn't get the attention they got. But you see these guys who were treated like stars.
Yeah.
And then didn't make the cut in the end. Like at the very last minute, didn't make the big team. And no, not the tantrum. It's just how quickly they're forgotten. And suddenly they're just another guy that's a part of the club that's, goes out, does the training, and then goes in for his points and goes home, and that's it. And it's, And I mean, that happened to me in wrestling as well, where we were told from the first fucking month or two how great we were. And for the first year, we were treated like royalty, like we were the next best thing to fucking come up in wrestling. So we got lazy and we stopped fucking working as hard, and we started to take it for fucking granted. And then when we had to leave that promotion to go to another promotion, we kind of realised maybe we got a bit more work to fucking do here,
Yeah.
But so anyway, back to this lady.
Yes.
So what exactly is she? What's she accused of, and what can be proven? What did she definitely do? I mean, we know what she's accused of. Well, what did she do? Definitely.
So basically, between 1830 and 1834, the funeral registers document the deaths of 12 slaves at her house on Royal Street. Although the causes of the deaths are not mentioned, disease could easily have been the cause. There was kids included.
Similar to this lady who we talked about.
Oh, I will say...
Was it Mary Ann Cotton that they kept just putting down that it was which one with the stomach problems?
Mary Ann Cotton. Yeah.
So it's just similar kind of idea of there's enough bad shit going around here that no one's going to pay any attention to what's written on the fucking bird thing. And as long as they don't see the deformed bodies.
Oh, they did though. And the youngest was a 4-year-old. So, I mean, yeah. Her house actually burned down. And that's how she was caught out. It was a slave in the kitchen. There was rumours going around, first of all, that she had been keeping a slave in the kitchen, chained to the cooker, and there was nobody was really looking into it or anything like that. But the fire was actually started by this slave who said that she was trying to kill herself because she'd fucked up something somewhere and she was so scared of LaLaurie, so she just set fire to the kitchen.
The thing about it is she could have paraded people through the kitchen and they wouldn't have given a fuck about a black woman trying to chain to a fucking kitchen. They'd be like, oh good, you keep your slaves under control, good job.
She was already in trouble though at some stage for basically not treating. There's still kind of a code of standards how you had to look after the health of your slaves at the same time.
Basically the same way you're expected to take care of your dogs.
Exactly. Yeah. It was nothing cushy, nothing like that. But it was the same way as in we might be banned.
Treat them the way you're supposed to treat an animal, basically.
Yeah. If you were found going in contravention of that law, it's exactly what happens now when you're told you are not allowed to own a dog anymore. She'd have been told, well, sorry, you have to get rid of 2 of your slaves. You're only allowed to have 1 now. Which is exactly what happened. And the thing is, when she got rid of the slaves, she had a relative on the inside who was like, oh, well, there they are on the market. We're going to buy them right back and bring them back to LaLaurie. So can you imagine that sinking feeling? Thinking you're getting out of there and you're plonked back in that mansion again.
The only slave standing on the stage waiting to be bid on me. Like, yes, take me away from where I am. I'll do anything.
Exactly, yeah. But what was I going to say? Yes, when her house burned down and they went up into the top room, which is the attic, and that was always kind of kept locked. So they went in and they found slaves that had clearly been there quite a number of months. And there were shackles around their neck. They were stretched out as if they're on the rack. Some of them had collars on them with spikes in them that stopped them from being able to move their head. So that was visual evidence. This was found on the day of fire. She was torturing them. Now I don't know if she had. There was also an 8-year-old girl. Eyewitness account said that she fell off the top the roof of the building, and the story about that girl was she was brushing Madame LaLaurie's hair and she hit a snag, and LaLaurie got really shitty and she grabbed the whip and the girl was trying to get away from her, and that's when she fell off the roof. Yeah.
So it's literally the most extreme version of arching your ass up into the air so your mom can't hit you with the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Except she arched so far she fell off a building.
Yeah, she ran. She moved the wrong body part.
Oh, that's fucking terrible.
I know. So yeah, with the fire that happened in 1834. After that,
did she die in that fire or did she go missing?
She went missing.
Because they still claim to see her ghost around that area. That's why I thought she might have died in that fire.
She was living in exile in Paris with her mother and 2 sisters. That was in 1842.
So did this bitch die comfortably in her bed?
She actually went back to New Orleans, as far as I know, and she died in pardon me. She was talking about going back to New Orleans, but she actually died in Paris in 1849.
So she did not get any sort of repercussions for any of this.
Nope.
Whew.
I know. Yeah.
Great to be white in the 1800s, huh?
Fucking crazy.
Holy
And then Nicolas
fuck.
Cage bought her house, but it wasn't her house. Her house that actually burnt down was obviously rebuilt.
But he's known for that, isn't he? He's known for owning a number of haunted houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his son's a big goth. He's
I
now
don't
becoming
know
a bit of a horror
if he owns as
icon.
much anymore. He'd get rid of the LaLaurie mansion for foreclosure. I think she kind of hit into a few money troubles, but I don't know if he still has the collection.
It sucks for him, but it's great for us because it means he does all these excellent horror movies. No?
They're amazing.
He's just hilarious. I love that he just
does not give a shit.
He saw the memes about himself and he leaned into it.
I really enjoyed the one with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, that was good. I still want to see Mandy. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a new one out, Arcadia, that we haven't seen.
And also, what you call it? With
fucking.
That was good.
And I'm telling you now, how people slept on Willy's Wonderland is beyond me. I mean, everyone goes on about Five Nights at Freddy's, but it was done 2 years beforehand with Nicolas Cage not uttering a fucking word, and it was epic. But I would love to go see this LaLaurie mansion. I would literally love to go there just to sit outside for hours and see.
Stop! It's supposed to be so full of like, but that has to be like, did you like paranormal and the weird and the wonderful? I just love. I've relations in New Orleans.
See, here it is, LaLaurie folklore. There's something about some stairs she's seen to walk up and down, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. So, Mara.
Oh, I forgot the Kathy Bates played her in American Horror Story. Yeah, I love Kathy Bates. But yeah. So,
yeah, I don't see anything about her ghost.
You don't, but there's definitely stuff about her ghost. Hang on 1 minute. Look, it doesn't matter.
There was one victim, I forgot to say that, who obviously they described as obviously having her arms amputated and her skin peeled off in a circular pattern, making her look like a human caterpillar.
Like a jigsaw fucking killer.
Yeah.
But I know there is...
That was unsourced, though.
There is definitely stories of seeing women outside the house, walking around outside the house that aren't there, and that she has been seen walking up some famous steps near the place, that she'd be hanging out around there. I think
is
sometimes
that the LaLaurie mansion or is that the Myrtle Plantation?
I'm pretty sure it was this. It was on last podcast.
Sorry.
And Henry was talking about it, and I think they literally went there then for his 40th birthday, like last week or something.
Oh, they did, because I saw pictures of Marcus.
They were talking about it on the fucking show this week when I was listening.
Yeah, let me have a look.
So I know there is some ghosts. They claim those fucking those bars. Remember that PJ bought those rods.
I saw the video Marcus with it. He looked like
what they claimed was that they feel stiff in your hand. And you can feel it pulling. And then Henry said he felt that he held them and they were loose as fuck in his hand and wouldn't stiff no matter how hard he fucking tried. So there was a difference. Okay. Even though PJ told me they are fairly unreliable because people can manipulate them.
Yeah, that would be my thing. It's so easy to manipulate. But I was watching Time Team one day and they were like, can we dig here? Will we dig here? And they were going to get the geophys in. But then there was like a diviner there. And they were like, right, so get it out.
Really
but he did it. And then he dug.
I'm really sorry.
And there was water.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I didn't give it. I was so busy trying to like play some of the stuff for him that we had from around here that I didn't actually take time to look at the fucking things. And the kids were talking as well because they wanted to see all the flashing lights and stuff. And I just kind of forgot about it.
Do they have to be special, or can we just get our own steel rods and bend them and walk around with them?
I don't know. I have to ask them. I'm going to get in contact with them again soon because I think they have another one of their lockdowns coming up and I want to see if we can get in on that.
Yes.
So now we'll get on to our fun one this week. The one that made you laugh. The one that made me laugh listening to you
Obviously, people getting stabbed isn't funny.
No. But just you going through it was funny. And this was the London Monsters. Do you want to tell us about the London Monster?
Okay, so the London Monster was an alleged attacker of women in London between 1788 and 1790. And he had a signature of piquerism. So that's the pricking or stabbing of victims with a knife, pin or needle. According to victims, a large man had followed them, shouted obscenities, and stabbed them in the butt. Some reports claimed that an attacker had knives fastened to his knees. Another account reported that he would invite prospective victims to smell a fake, what they call a nosegay. That's what style that I was like, what the fuck is a nosegay?
What is a nosegay?
It's a small bunch of flowers.
Okay.
Yeah. And they would stab them in the face with the spike hidden in the flowers. So,
I thought when you said he asked them to smell something, it was their butt or something like that.
No, so he had to ask them to smell
because you started laughing at that point, and that made me laugh. And I thought it was sniff their butt.
No.
Sniff his butt, I mean.
No, excuse me.
Do you know that this is actually still a very common thing?
Sniffing people's butts?
No. There was maybe about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago in America.
Clothes and stuff.
And I think it's happened a few times recently as well, since butt slashers. Guys who, like in America, will go around like shopping malls and stuff like that with Stanley knives, and like he's walking past you, like slash at your ass. And he'll tear, sometimes he'll just tear the jeans, sometimes he'll leave a slice on your butt.
Jesus.
But, and then they'll be gone by the time you turn. Why did this guy do it? I don't know. I mean, because they're fucking weird. I mean, but I don't know. Maybe it's amateur psychologist here. My thought process would be that if he's slashing at women's butts, it could be a case of one of these incel kind of people of, well, this girl would never have sex with me. Fuck her. I'm going to, disfigure her or whatever. And that's the area that is usually used for sex. So slash at that. It's not like you can slash at the front and get away.
Unless you ran past really fast.
It'd still be a very, very hard fucking one to slide your fucking knife in between their legs. That
more of a stabby than a slashy motion.
Fuck, that's disgusting. Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. But so this guy, that wasn't what made you laugh, was it?
No.
That was just what started to make you laugh. Let's keep going.
I could have gotten over that. In all cases, the alleged assailant would escape before help arrived, and some women found that their clothes were cut, and others did have substantial wounds. And in over the 2 years, the number of reported victims amounted to about 50. And he was given the name The Monster, and then some men founded a club called the No Monster Club and began to wear club badges on their lapels to show that they were not, in fact, the monster.
What if the monster just joined the No Monster Club?
It's screaming at the monster, this is what you have to do, and then everybody will believe you are not the monster. Because
this pretty much sounds like a club my fucking 6-year-old son Fionn would start.
I was literally just about to say
the No Monster Club.
No Monster Club.
For the video this week, do you know how I usually put I usually put a picture to go with the social media, because we put the mini monsters up. Sometimes you get the full episode, sometimes you get part of the episode because the episode's so long it won't go up on social media. But I put a picture with them. So I got the little rascals with their He-Man Woman Haters Club sign for the front of their door. But I put monster over the woman. So it's just little rascals with He-Man Monster Haters Club. But I don't know. It's just such a... Did they ever figure out who did it?
There was a guy, Renwick Williams, a 23-year-old florist. He was accused of insulting a lady and he was challenged to a duel. He was taken to meet Ann Porter, a woman who said that she had been attacked, and when she saw him, he fainted. He said that he was innocent, but he wasn't believed. Basically, he was charged with defacing clothing, and that was a crime that in the bloody code carried a harsher penalty than assault or attempted murder. Imagine that.
Do you know one thing I'll give you? When I was doing mini monsters, it was more kind of up-to-date killers and stuff like that. You've been bringing in some of these more historical ones, and they're ridiculous. They're funny ridiculous, but ridiculous. Number one, like, this guy's in trouble for insulting a woman, so we're going to have a duel, and then he is brought to court for defacing their clothes, not stabbing them. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. This bloody code, it was it mandated the death penalty for a wide range of crimes. So, I mean...
Hold on a minute. Are you telling me you could have got the death penalty for slicing their clothes?
I think it might have been one of the ones that wasn't seriously on the table, but do it more than once. As in, like, if you're a repeat offender.
I don't know, again, going back to that Burke and Hare movie last night when they were listing out what they were in trouble for before they got hung, it was usually pretty funny.
He was actually, he was convicted on 3 accounts and sentenced to 2 years for each account for a total of 6 years in prison. He was released in December 1796.
So he was convicted for it?
Yeah, but historians looking back on it, they're like, was the monster real? Was Williams actually innocent?
Well, what I see here is they're saying that this could be one of the very, very first times you had an attacker with copycat cases, where this mightn't just be one person. This could be multiple people copying the one guy. Oh, this guy, if he gets away with it, I can do it, and just blame it on the monster.
So what we're saying was England was full of incels at that time period.
The fucking world is full of incels now, then, forever. How was he compared to Jack the Ripper, though? I don't get that. Or the sensationalism of it? Because obviously he didn't what he did was mild compared to what Jack the Ripper. I mean, let's face it. The London Monster is a nuisance as opposed to an actual.
But would that nuisance grow into something more? Was this literally just?
Well, it clearly fucking didn't, did it?
Because he got caught.
Yeah, I suppose so. I was about to say that doesn't really stop someone who's already on that road, but then again, we have Larry Murphy, who we constantly talk about, who was most definitely a serial killer and stopped because he was caught and no one knows that eyes are on him constantly.
Apparently he's in Spain now. My mom was saying. I said to her, oh, I thought he was in London. And she was like, no, he's gone to Spain now.
I thought they already kicked him out of Spain.
That's what I thought. But according to her, she was like, I was like, you know about the London.
It doesn't matter anymore. I think we do have extradition with Spain now. That's why all the gangsters started moving the fuck away from that. You know, after the Operation Shovel.
The Americans are way better at names.
Yeah. This was a joint operation between Ireland, England and Spain. It was the time it was a bit of a bust. They had kind of been working on catching the Kinahan cartel for fucking months. This had been going on for years, apparently. And then they finally decided to go in with the arrest warrants and search warrants and search all their houses. And the main Kinahan, the father and the 2 sons, were in prison for, I don't know, less than a month before they were released with lack of evidence. And they packed up and moved to Saudi Arabia, where they could not be extradited.
We don't have any extradition laws in Saudi Arabia.
Not at the moment, but no, it looks like Saudi Arabia are starting to fucking clamp down because too many of them are going there. So I think they're looking at some, last I heard, it was some Iranian country.
Iran?
An island, sorry. Off of one of these places, because it would be an absolute guarantee that they would have absolutely no extradition with America.
Like Jordan or somewhere like that?
Because now they don't just have the Irish looking for them. They've the Americans have like a fucking huge reward out for them.
Like Indians?
Yeah. Massive reward, millions if you can bring them information to get them arrested, to get a conviction. So
oh really? Can anybody collect the reward?
You can get them. But that's what I was listening to a Sunday World podcast about it, and she was pointing out it was interesting. It was an interesting way of looking at it. It was they got into this life and got so big that they opened up the world to them. These guys who were from inner city Dublin, who really had no prospects, created this life where they had everything, the whole world at their hands, and now they're watching it all go in reverse again, and suddenly they're being narrowed into one location. I mean, let's face it, who the fuck wants to live in Iran or Iraq? You know? Especially an island off of Iran or Iraq. And you're a bunch of gangsters who typically like to take lots of drugs and have scantily clad women and prostitutes around all the time and having, fucking sex with these women every night and going to strip clubs and all that. Guess what, guys? The Muslims ain't down for that. So you better get used to healthy living. You can have a few wives if you want, but you gotta marry them all.
If you're Catholic over there, are you still allowed to take a few wives, or would they be like, oh, well, sorry, you're Catholic, you can't do that here?
I have no idea. Not a notion. I just know that it's not some place I will be looking to retire.
I think I'd like to retire to Amsterdam. We had a really good time over there.
I'd like to retire somewhere warm though.
Oh yeah, Amsterdam during the summer, somewhere else during the winter.
Last one we have for today.
Travel for the winter.
Is the Black Dog.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give him a quick background on the black dog?
The black dog, it's a supernatural, spectral or demonic hellhound originating from English folklore, and it's also been seen throughout Europe and the Americas. It's usually unnaturally large. Christ. And it has glowing red or yellow eyes, and it is often connected with the devil as an English incarnation of the hellhound. And it's sometimes an omen of death. And it's also sometimes associated with electrical storms, such as the Black Shuck. That's a version of the dog appearance in Suffolk, and also with crossroads, barrows, places of execution, and ancient pathways.
I always thought it was an Irish thing, to be honest with you.
No, it's all over the place. Well, it features heavily in, because I mean, you said you have a story. My dad has a story.
No, my story's slightly tainted.
Well,
it was the second time I ever smoked weed. Not smoked, but weed. Because when I first started smoking, you couldn't get weed in Ireland.
Yeah.
It was hash. Everyone got hash. So this was the first time we got weed. We kind of got a tiny bit of it, and we smoked a tiny bit of it, and it was grand. The second time we got it, we parked. We went out. We were out in Bally. Where is it? What's the one between here and Castle Island?
Bally CD?
No.
Bally Desmond?
No, that's Cork. Ballyduff?
No, Bally
Why the fuck can I not think of this?
Ballyduff.
No, Ballyduff is this one.
It's
We're all over the place here. We're going all around.
2 seconds. I'm able to get this.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, we're looking for that. We were parked up anyway, and we were smoking away. And it was our first proper, like, full-on smoke session. We had the bag, and we were just going and going and going and going and going. It was so bad at one point that I was sitting in the front seat, and I looked at the...
Ballygary.
No, that's the hotel, but it's on that road. It's a big, big area. I just can't think of the fucking name at the moment. So it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to the people who are listening. But I was so high at that stage that I remember looking into the wing mirror. I was sitting there, and we had like inside lights on inside the car, and I looked at the wing mirror, and I was like, oh, cars have to pull up behind us, shit. And my mate turned off the lights, and we all ducked down a bit, because we thought it might be the guards, like, you know, because why were we parked out in the middle of fucking nowhere? And we're on the old Tralee Road. And next thing I looked at the wing mirror again, and I was like, the lights are gone. I think we're okay. And then my mate Evan turned on the lights again. I was like, shit, they're back. It was the reflection of the lights in the car hitting the back window of the car and going into the rear, into the wing mirror. So I kept panicking. But we figured that one out pretty quick. But anyway, we realised pretty soon that that getting high was the same as getting drunk. He couldn't drive. And we had to walk back. Now, his house was a couple of miles from where we were. So we had to walk the main road. And I remember we were walking the main road, and as we were walking, I kept looking into the ditch, and I was convinced that there was a dog in there. I kept saying it to the boys. I was like, lads, there's a fucking black dog right there. And every time we move down, I can hear it. It's fucking following us. And I'd look over, and I'm like, it's right there. And no one else could see where I was pointing out. Pitch dark.
Yeah.
But I was like, right there. Do you not see it? It's right there. Like, and this went on the whole way home.
Jeez. And why do you think it's tainted?
Huh?
Why do you think it's tainted?
Because I was stoned.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
See, that would have freaked me out. I think I'd be like, we need to turn back.
No, because I didn't really know. I was more worried that it was going to attack me, to be honest with you. In the sense that, you know, that it was a wild dog.
Yeah.
Well, but I wasn't actually, I didn't really know there was anything paranormal about it.
Okay. I wouldn't have known that, but I've heard of that.
Ballymac, that's what it is. Fucking hell, that would have taken me ages. It was driving me from. I knew it was Bally fucking something. But yeah, it was on that road that I saw it. You said your dad saw it.
Yeah, when my dad was younger, and he was brought up in the country, and obviously when he was younger, there wouldn't have been any like light pollution or anything like that, because the houses that were around wouldn't be there now. Like, wouldn't have been there back then. But he was on his bike when he was about 17 or 18. He was going home one night, and whatever happened anyway, and he got off the bike when he was at this gate into a field, and this black dog came out, and my dad, he's a very kind of animal kind of person, so obviously he stopped, and he was like rubbing him or whatever, and then he went home, and he was talking to his own granddad, and his own granddad was like, you're a bit late. and Dad was saying why he was late and where he'd stopped and where he'd seen the dog. But he said his granddad, like, he looked like he was being slapped across the face. And he was like, it's not good, like, seeing that dog, pretty much.
Your dad's still here, so it wasn't that bad.
Didn't say when, though.
Huh? Well, come here. Oh, God. I think that's all we got for this week. We'll stop with the black dog. If you want to hear more about the black dog, check it out. Check out Mini Monsters.
Yes.
It's Friday's episode, and it will go through, and that's where Amy goes through everything in detail.
Yep.
Not just discussion.
Nope.
But every last detail about where all the different ones, like I said, they're from all different countries. So you can check that out there. And so, like I said, this week we got a good bit in. We got our 4 stories in, and we managed to stick in Changelings while we were at it.
See?
So we can cross that one off the rewind list.
Yep. And Mark Bridget Cleary.
Well, I still see them as the same fucking story. It's essentially, they're the same thing. I mean, Bridget Cleary is just an offshoot of the Changeling story.
Yeah, but she wasn't actually a changeling, so I put her as a murder victim.
Oh, yeah. But it comes from that folklore and that mythology.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward to see what we have next week. I feel like maybe another big one. We need some big killer next week, I think. Modern killer. I don't know who. She's putting her head down already. She can't handle any of this modern stuff.
They're usually like 2 hours freaking long. No, I won't even mess up. It's fine. No, I didn't like the modern stuff. They're
pretty gory usually. I know. I'm trying to think of someone decent, someone we can fit in. And we might do a little rewind with it. But if we're doing a long one, if we do a guy who should be a 2-parter and it becomes one long episode, we'll throw in Pedro Filo as well. So we can talk about him because he was the Dexter killer and we're talking about Dexter.
Sounds like a makey-uppy name.
Did we talk about Pedro Filo last week?
We did at some stage, yeah. We mentioned him last week.
We can get a bit more. Oh, yeah, we've already covered Pedro Filo, so we'll cover someone else for that. But yeah, we'll definitely be looking for someone big next week, I think. Someone interesting, something juicy. Oh, maybe we'll do a big rewind. I don't know. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Well, no. Do you know what I want to do?
What?
It's kind of a rewind. It's not a rewind. It's not a Mini Monsters rewind. It's a classic Real Monsters rewind.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
There's someone in Real Monsters that I would like to push forward for Mini Monsters and that we can talk about and we can get into in depth next week. Who I felt like last time on Classic Real Monsters, we just spoke about his career. I would like to talk about the person.
Is this going to a vote?
Huh?
Is this going to a vote? Oh, I think I know who we're doing.
Huh?
I think I know who we're doing.
That's my favourite story, as much as I fucking hate him.
Yeah?
I am not doing Dahmer again. I did 4 fucking episodes on Dahmer. We will do
BTK?
Dahmer down the fucking line,
BTK.
okay? Most likely BTK. So what we might do there is a bit of a rewind with BTK and 3 short stories then around it as well.
Okay, cool.
Oh, hang on. If you're doing BTK, yeah. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I'm not going to be doing it right here on air. See, people, you don't just get the stories here from us. You get the process.
Brainstorming.
I've come to the conclusion of the weekend update. That's all it is. We'll give you a bit of news and then you'll hear us brainstorming about what we plan to fucking do next.
We post up screenshots of our whiteboard with the promotion.
Oh, God. But first, you got to clear all my conspiracy shit off it. But be careful with the threads. Because,
we'll flip it over and keep your threads intact.
I'm really close. I nearly had the case cracked.
I know. You're doing good.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.